I'm excited to share with you my new brush pack called the Dog Builder Brushes, and it's created for Procreate, Affinity, Photoshop, and it's also available in PNG and PDFs as well. This is a pack for dog lovers that would like to draw and paint dogs easily and have a bit of a jump start on their canine artwork. There are 133 dog ear, face, head, and body shape stamps to help you get set up and on your way super fast. And I won't leave you on your own, so I've included a step-by-step video tutorial that will help guide you through the process and hopefully inspire you with some new ideas for how to best use this pack. I've made a link for you in the description below where you can go and find more information on these brushes. As of the date of this video's launch, they are on sale for a special discount for a limited time, so you might want to go check that out. In this video, I'll show you an example of how to use this brush pack. We'll be drawing a little dog using the stamp brushes, as well as a few of the illustration brushes that are included. I'll show you from start to finish how to get the max out of this Dog Builder brushes so you can easily create your favorite furry friend. And now we're all ready to go. Okay, so I've just opened up a new canvas and it is just this screen size, so you can do whatever size you want to do for today. And I've already imported my dog brushes and the pet illustration brushes. As you can see here, we have favorite sketch, some hair brushes, and some patterns and goodies for you there. And then the dog brushes, you can see their ears, a bunch of ears, faces, so those are faces without the ears. Then I did put the heads together with the breeds so that you can just be sure you've gotten the right ears if you have a purebred that you're trying to do. And then the bodies. So today I'm going to choose this guy. I like this guy, so we're gonna pick this face here. And the important thing to do with the stamp brushes is to make sure each one is on a separate layer. That way you can move them and change them and get them in the right spot first, otherwise it's a little hard to do. So we're just gonna make sure, let's just see what size, that's probably good for now. So I'm gonna just add a new layer. And we can do floppy ears, we can do pointy ears. Let's try, let's see. I don't know if these will work, but let's see if these ones work. So we have these, oops, I've gone too big here. Like that. That's kind of cute. So you're gonna have to change them a little bit, just resize and reshape these little dashed lines. This sort of gives you a guide of approximately where they're supposed to be. And feel free to move them around a little bit if you need to. I think that's funny. Okay, next new layer. So I'm gonna put the body on a separate layer. Let's go find one. Let's see, I can use this one. Let's see how this goes. This is a fairly big dog, judging by the size of his head. I'm just gonna flip this horizontal just to get that. Somewhere in there, don't worry about this line. It'll all come together. Okay, he looks like a pretty goofy dog, but okay, I love that. All right, and there we go. Okay, so once you're happy with that, you can just go ahead and, if you're happy with it where everything's placed, you can pinch all these layers together so that it's not just on one layer to make it simpler for yourself. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna click on the N and turn this opacity way down, because you're not gonna want to include this stamp in your final artwork, right? You're gonna wanna trace over it, make it interesting, make it your own. Just use these as a guide. I think it's really important to have your own signature on sort of how you use your lines. I think that line work definitely adds a lot of personality, so that's really important. So let's go to the pets illustration. I have included a sketch brush for you here. Actually, you know what, before we start, I'm gonna show you these hair brushes. They're pretty awesome. If you're doing a furry guy, this guy's not, but if you're doing fur, like you can just have lots of fur, and this is going to be way quicker than drawing all that individually. And of course you can change the size, have that all small. Let's get a darker color here so hopefully you can see it a bit better. You can see how that would be really helpful if you're doing something really furry. Right? Okay, so those are the hair brushes. Feel free to use them on your fluffy pets, but today I'm going to do more of an illustrative style, which is kind of one of my favorites, so I'm going to use the sketch pencil here. Okay, so I'm just literally going to go ahead and just start, oops, let's just make this a little bit lower, maybe about 20. And I'm just going to go and just start sketching out here. I like a sketchy look, and so that's what I'm going to just play around with my brush a little bit. That's pretty straightforward there, bringing that in. The little gums there. Probably some teeth in there too. Oops, a little bit overly expressive. Okay. So it really helps just knowing where everything is supposed to go. It gives you a real head start. Or at the very least, it gives you a starting point, which really helps. Okay, let's turn off that guide layer. Let's see what we've got so far. All right, so that's pretty quick. So what I always like to do is I like to do a fill layer so that I can do a clipping mask and do all my painting over top. You don't have to, feel free to do that how you want. This is how I like to do it. I'm just gonna grab this basic beige, and I'm going to just go and go to inking. This is in Procreate, native for Procreate. Just go and find your studio pen. That will do well for a fill. So I'm just gonna quickly go around and fill this in. We can probably fast forward. I'm just going and tracing on the inside, and just so I can fill this in. So let's just go ahead and speed this up. Okay, now it's all lined in. I'm just going to drag this in and fill that, and then I'll show you this without the background on. I'm actually just going to make that white again, so I'm just going to paint over top whatever colors I want. Let's see, maybe I'll do a little gray fella today. Let's just see, just picking any sort of random gray. I'm going to just clip or tap on the layer here and say clipping mask. And today I'm going to use my Living Watercolor paintbrushes. It's just the watercolor brush set that I love to use. And you can use whatever you want, but I'm going to use my Living Watercolor one today. So I'm going to go grab this washi brush, just a big wash. And I'm just going to use the pressure just to fill that in and make it a little bit irregular. I don't want it perfectly solid. So that's a good start just to get some color down. Then I'm going to just change this to a darker gray. Go and grab my soft bloom. I'm going to use this the most probably. And I'm just going to use that to start putting in some shadows. A little bit of shade here. Just kind of round him out a little bit. Now I'm going to want it darker and where his eyes are, sort of sockets of his eyes. Around his mouth. Just keeping it loose right now. That's kind of where his arms are, just get in there. His paws might be a little bit darker. Not exactly sure what markings I'm going to do yet, but we'll soon find out. Okay, so on this layer I'm going to just take my eraser because of course his tongue is not going to be gray, poor guy. Or I'll just take that out of there. Lovely. He's gonna have a little bit of whites of his eyes showing here. Just a touch. So that's fine. I think the rest of it we can be okay with. I'm gonna create some markings right now, I guess. Just grab the white, staying on my soft bloom. Just gonna give him a little patch here. That'll be good. Okay, lovely. Back to the gray layer, back to the darker gray, still on the same brush here. And just gonna go and create more depth in here. Oops, a little bit much there. That's good. Just shade this in a little. I'm going to color this in a little bit more with a different pen, I think, but just sort of start with this so far. This is when a reference photo would be always useful. It's always kind of nice to do that. I'm just going to bring in some warmer colors as well. Just to kind of know what you're trying to achieve. Let's have a few ideas. Obviously, if you're doing a specific breed, it's good to have like those little details. Just seeing what normally occurs. I feel like this gray is a little bit cold. I might just warm it up a little bit. Yeah, probably better. A little life to him. Okay, and I'm just gonna hit that plus sign and come in and just give a neutrally sort of brown color. I'm gonna go to my pets and grab the sketch and just bring in that eyes here. Just start with this color. Maybe play around with it a little bit. Just a little darker. Maybe some of those flecks will come out. And I'm going to go quite dark. Create a little bit of a shadow here. Those eyes just get set back a bit, you know. That's better. And I'm going to grab this color again, a little bit lighter. Maybe a few little flecks in there. While we're at it, I'm just going to go to the very top, add a new layer, grab the white and bring in the highlight here. Gives it a little life and helps me know where I want to go with it. There. That really makes a difference. Get that white in there, maybe a little extra shadow or shadow highlight in there. Okay. And I'm going to change back to black, go to this eye layer, and just going to soften this out a bit. Just sort of using the side of my brush to do that. Making a mess as usual. Okay, how are we doing? Good. Still, I'm not sure if I love the color that I've chosen, to be perfectly honest with you. It happens. Let's just see if I change it, oops, to beige. Still a little bit cold, maybe a little bit warmer. Maybe that's better. Just seeing a little, I don't know, flat. Didn't love that color so much. Okay, let's change the color of the outline. This is personal preference again. Just if you don't want a black outline, we can always change the color. Just hit the plus sign, tap on it, clipping mask, and then we can just see what it looks like with a brown. Maybe a little darker brown. I think that's nice. Softens it up a bit. Maybe we should get some color on that little tongue of his so we kind of get the whole picture here. Oh no, have I gone and made a mistake there? I did. A little bit white, excellent. Okay, so then let's just do this pink tongue. So I'm gonna just select one of the layer underneath the eyes here. I'm just gonna grab sort of a pinky color. And I'm going to use, back to my living watercolor, use the fill brush. That will do. Just fill this in. Might be a tad pale for this guy, but it's a good place to start anyway. Okay, let's just warm that up a little bit. Maybe that one. That's a little much. There, that's better. Okay. So I'm gonna actually put a clipping mask on that. I'm gonna make it a little bit of a reddier color here. Back to my soft bloom. And just shade this in a bit. Actually, quite a bit. So I'm gonna actually want this quite dark here in the back. I might actually just bring in my sketch pencil just to do that. I want it fairly black. Just gonna bring in, oops. Fill that in a little bit more solid at the back there. That's better. Okay. We can stay on this layer actually, because it's just going to be more on the mouth area. So I'm going to go back to my brown and just get more of a little bit darker, charcoaly, still in the warm zone though. I'm just going to start to fill this in a little bit. Still with my sketch though, but you can use the favorite sketch. This will work just the same here, pretty much similar. Okay, let's color in this nose a little darker. I'm using more of a black. Using quite black here, almost totally, not quite. And maybe a little bit more gray. I'm gonna go into my highlight layer and just do a little highlight here so we can start to see the, oops, contours of it a little bit. Just underneath here really makes a difference. Oops, not too much. That's good. Little nose coming along. All right, maybe we can do a little highlight here. This little eyebrow coming up. So this is sort of a watercolor and sketch, sort of both. I like mixing the things sometimes like that. A little on his tongue. I really didn't do a very clean job of coloring this in, did I? Oops. There we go. And let's see what else. I'm probably gonna do a few little dots on his face. So I've gone to my line layer again. Maybe he'll just, you know, have this sort of little dots here. I'm not gonna put in any whiskers or anything, just, or little hairs, just that kind of thing. While I'm here, actually, you know what? I'm gonna change this. I'm gonna merge this together. It's changing the color, but then I actually am going to do another clipping mask, and I want some things to actually be black, like his eyes. I don't want them to be brown. The same with his nose. So I'm just going to color over that. It's just going to bring that out a little bit more, you can see. And that's probably good. Yeah. I think we need a little bit more work on the face. I'm going to go back to Living Watercolor, back to Soft Bloom. Just gonna see where I'm at here. Just bring in this cheek a little bit more, round that out so it's not so flat. Just trying to create a little bit more dimension to him a little bit. Just layering, lots of layering. Just being really soft with my brush. Okay. All right, so you can just keep going until you feel it's all finished. Just layering, maybe I'll warm that up even more. But I think that's probably fairly good. You know what, this tongue is still not quite what I had in mind, so let's just warm it up a little bit. Just needs a little bit more. Such a big feature on this guy. All right, I think that's pretty good for today. I hope that gives you a clear sort of idea of what we can do with these brushes. They're pretty simple to use, and hopefully that really helps jumpstart your pet drawing. So I hope you had a good overview of how these brushes worked and how they bring value to your artwork and increase your pet drawing and painting skills. And if you did like this video, I'd love a thumbs up, subscribe, and don't forget to hit the bell icon so you'll be notified of new tutorials just like this in the future. Thanks so much for watching, guys. I love you so much. See you in the next one.